Have you ever felt overwhelmed with all that's going on in the world? Sometimes we don't realize that we can make a difference. My name is Debbie Van Grieken, and it is my hope to inspire you to take small steps towards social impact. Join us each week as we have conversations with those who have taken simple steps towards living a more sustainable and socially conscious lifestyle. If you want to make social impact, let's start small. The Small Steps podcast is proudly sponsored by Moya Shea Products. As a listener, enjoy 15% off your online purchase. Use code SMALLSTEPS15 at checkout. At Moya, we believe in people helping people. Supporting the local and global communities that help our organization succeed is very important to us. We apply a fair trade framework when purchasing raw materials, supporting farmers and families. Thinking global and acting local, Moya works with organizations to better the lives of children through education and fair trade. Are you looking for the best moisturizer for beautiful, healthy, glowing skin? Our Shea products are superb moisturizers and have exceptional healing properties for those suffering from skin issues. Check out these products and our wellness line at moyasheabutter.com. Welcome back to the Start Small podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Van Grieken, and today I'm pleased to be joined with Teresa Schaubel. Teresa is the owner of Giftologie. She's a third-generation business owner, and from the beginning, selling fruits and vegetables at the age of 6 from her family's garden, she knew that being an entrepreneur is what she wanted to do. She is a successful owner of a trophy and awards business called Custom Image Sales, and in 2015 decided to indulge her creative side and use the repurposed materials that were once used for plaques, medals, and trophies to create unique cuffs and necklaces, all with meaningful messages. She's inspired by the world around her, the amazing people she meets, and her strong belief that true beauty comes from within. Please welcome Teresa. Hi, Teresa. It's so great to have you here today.
Thanks, Debbie. I'm super excited to be here too.
I've been really looking forward to this interview. We actually met, I feel like it's a couple of years ago now. And I absolutely love your products. I'm often, as you know, gifting them, and I have them for myself too. I actually have one of your bracelets right here. I wore this the other day because I love the saying inside. So it says, "Dream higher than the sky and deeper than the ocean." And this is such a beautiful bracelet. And I'm thinking, okay, like, what made you think I can make jewelry out of leftover scrap metal? Like, this looks nothing like a scrap metal. So tell me, what was that moment like?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. Who would have thought? I grew up making trophies, and that from trophies to jewelry, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I just would look inside the recycling bin of our metal scraps and was mesmerized by the shapes that the metal would take after they were trimmed. And so I would twirl it around my finger and kind of dream of what else I could do with this material. And when I researched the aluminum, I learned that it was really a great product for jewelry. Not only was it eco-friendly because it's infinitely recyclable, it's also malleable, it's lightweight, it has a great value price point, and it's really wearable and long lasting. So I was pretty excited to kind of start exploring that option.
That's awesome. And yeah, I just love that there is that eco-friendly part of it, that material. And I want you to describe for us those early days in your business. What kind of vision did you have for it? Because it must have been kind of this creative process, even just with making the jewelry and then deciding how to incorporate that into a business.
Yeah, it was very barbaric at first. I would just kind of like hand roll the bracelets. They weren't always very circular. They weren't always very well shaped. I had a neighbor that was retired from GM as an engineer. And so he made me this wood block that we would just kind of, with our own strength, bend around to make the bracelet. So it was really interesting. But at that time, I was actually a young mom, and I was in a women's Bible study, and we were just talking about how important it was to hold close affirmations, like real truth, because as women, we're emotional. And so one day we have this feeling and we base everything on a feeling, not on truth. And so that's why I thought it would be really great to put these quotes inside the jewelry And so I made it for the group of women that I was in this group with. And we just all really felt this serious connection with what was in our bracelets as we put it on every day. And then I started just making it for friends. And then it took off from there.
That's so amazing. I really love that, because you do believe that words have power, and, you know, that true worth is found within, right? So
Agree.
share
Yes.
with us how you kind of, you know, got this creative process going, started finding these quotes. What kind of shape did that take for you?
Yeah. So as my friends really they actually liked what I made, like how exciting is it when you make something and people actually
Nice.
like it? So it's like, oh, let's explore this a little bit more. And so I just started researching some quotes. I spent a lot of time trying to find quotes that I felt would be speak to most women, like wherever we're at, something that would really feel inspiring, some truth that we could be reminded of throughout the day. And so I have a very long list now, but I started with probably 25 quotes that I felt were really strong. Like, she believed she could, so she did. Turn your face to the sun and the shadows fall behind you. Some just real good ones that we can all relate to and we all need. And so I started, focusing a little bit more than on the trophies, because that's not quite so fun. And signed myself up for some craft shows and, tried to see what people thought. And sure enough, they liked it too. And so away I went, looking for new ways to add inspiration to your day.
That's amazing. And I love that you have incorporated a sense of giving with your business as well, because you always want to give back. And I love that about you. And I want you to share with us some of the initiatives that you've got going and why you kind of resonated with the opportunity to give back to these charities.
Yeah, well, if I'm saying that I really think that it's important that women feel beautiful from within, and that is my mantra for my business, then I felt that I should really put my money where my mouth is, right? So really do that full circle and be giving back to women. And that's really what's fulfilling to me in business as well, is not only to be creative and find success, but also to feel like I'm making an impact on the women around me. So it started out, I researched some charities that I felt really had the same mantra as I did. And so we started out giving back to the Go Girls Mentoring Program. It's a program put on by the Big Brothers Big Sisters, and it's done throughout North America. And they are giving young girls in their tween age just tools to feel self-confident and find out who they are and create some tools to start their journey on. So we really resonated with that. And so we started there. But then our journey has taken us in many places. We've met a woman through making our pieces that really loved our pieces, and she held close to our jewelry as she was going through her breast cancer journey. And we connected with her, and we made a line called Glad to Be Here, where we gave all the proceeds to Rethink Breast Cancer in Toronto, which is a great resource for young women that are experiencing breast cancer. We've given to so many things. At Christmas, we like to find something different, and we've given through World Vision sewing machines to women in third world countries so they could be empowered to start their own business from home. We just want it to be full circle. We want everything that we do to be about inspiring women around us.
That's so amazing. I love that. Okay, so we're talking a lot about inspiring women, but I know that you are actually a boy mom like me.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I can relate to you when I see some of your social media posts and I'm like, oh yeah, she's in that stage. Constantly going places on the weekend and all the different events and stuff. Yeah. So, I just want to get your perspective on what it's like to be a mompreneur, and what your boys are seeing as you build this business. What are you hoping that they're going to learn from you?
Oh man. Well, for starters, they're going to learn what hard work looks like if they haven't already. Not only them to work hard, because they're involved in the business. They like to call it metalworking to their friends. They're never going to admit that they're making jewelry ever.
Okay, so, I'm going to give that one to them. I get it.
It's it's metalworking back there. But we believe as a family that sometimes you just do things as a family because that's what's needed. So they started at a young age, just helping out because they're part of the family and we all need to take a role. So they've been working with me for a very long time. But they know what it looks like to work hard. You know, small business hours are crazy. We do what we've got to do to make it work. We pivot when we need to and find new opportunities. I hope they learn that, you know, there's opportunities everywhere you look and not just in the conventional way. You know, I don't know, will they be entrepreneurs like me? I don't know. But I want them just to look at the world differently and look for opportunities in different ways, no matter where life takes them. So, and never to give up. I mean, having your own business is hard and there's a lot that get closed. There are a lot of ups and downs. Where holding on to truth for me really has been helpful because emotionally, some days you just feel like, what in the world am I doing? And I really hope the boys learn that, you know, you just have to persevere. That's what I'm hoping. But to be honest, I feel like as well through this, I've adopted like a family of girls too, you know, like different things that we donate to the women that reach out, to the girls that work in the studio with me. Just feel like I've gotten those girls I wanted as well. So it's been a beautiful journey.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And you know, your kids are still young teenagers, right? Or how old are they?
Teenagers. I've got, can I not admit it, but I've got a 12 and a 14-year-old. So
yeah, well, hey, I've got a 30-year-old. Mine are all 20 to 30.
We haven't aged at all.
Yeah, they're all 2 years apart. So, you know, going down,
oh my goodness,
you know, 5 of them. So 20 to 30 are mine. But
yeah,
but I love, because, you know, you will get the girls entering your life now as teens, the girlfriends start, and then eventually, in my case, the wives. So it's wonderful to see that too. But I love that, and I'm sure your boys are seeing it with the work that you're doing, where you're inspiring young girls and women, similar to my business, where, you know, we sponsor girls to go to school, and as a family and a family of boys, I think they recognize that, hey, they have some pretty amazing opportunities because of where they've been born, and so for them to kind of come on board. I know my boys, we've talked about it as a family, why it was so important to sponsor girls. For us, especially, you know, we're looking at developing countries sending girls to school because traditionally girls are left behind in global education. And so I think it's important for these young guys to see, hey, this is important. We need to support women. We need to support girls, and education is key to that. So I'm sure that they are really inspired. And even when we don't think they're getting something, I think they're getting it.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, so true. So powerful.
So tell me, I'm interested in how businesses come up with their name. So yours is Giftologie, and, you know, what kind of inspired the name? Is there any significance to it, or?
Yeah, I just felt that it was kind of like the philosophy of giving. And so it needs to start from within. So like it's kind of, so the logo is kind of a circle. And so it's full circle. So you start by giving yourself that self-confidence, those truths, those tidbits that you need throughout the day so that you can be the person that can now continue to give. And so it's just this full circle of giving. So we're giving to ourselves so we can give to our community, so that now, and then as Giftologie, we're giving as well to the community. So it's just this full idea of a life of gifting. So like, you know, loving and sharing and giving to others. And then it really worked out well that the product was really giftable. Right. So Giftologie was a great name altogether.
It is. And truly it is one of my go-to gifts. I know recently I bumped into you at a marketplace, and I was like, oh, got to get some gifts. And I got some coasters, and, you know, I love how the people receive it, and they read the words, and they, especially I think too, when somebody picks out words for you. I think that, you know, as women, we tend to, you know, we struggle with self-confidence or self-worth. But then when someone says something to us, we almost believe it more when we hear it from somebody else. Isn't that true? Yeah. So then when somebody picks out those beautiful words for you, I think it resonates so much within your heart, right? So I think it's,
and others can see others can see your journey in just a different light as well. So I feel like they have deeper insight, that they know kind of sometimes the words we need before we even know it ourselves.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So, our podcast is a lot about sustainability, and I love that you're already, doing so much to really help cut down the waste that we find in businesses and things. But I'm wondering, have you calculated that at all? Have you thought about how much you're diverting from landfills because of the recycling that you're doing, the upcycling and the innovation? Or is it something you plan to track in the future?
Well, now that you've brought it up, I definitely am going to plan to track it in the future. I think it would be cool even if I could just do it in like recycling buckets, so you could see how much visual that I'd like to work on. But yeah, from everything that we make, especially with the aluminum jewelry, it is completely recycled and recyclable. So aluminum is actually the aluminum that we use is done here in North America. It's done in an eco-friendly plant. And the aluminum that we use is mostly recycled, and it can be infinitely recyclable, unlike other materials.
Right.
So it is such a green product, and every little tidbit that isn't used is being recycled. We're taking from the recycling bin to try and use the most of each piece of aluminum that we have, so that we're just being wise with the products that we do use. And then we even have taken it to our packaging. All of the packaging that we use can be recycled. Anything that we use a little bag, we use those glycine bags that can be composted.
Mm-hmm.
We use our full cotton. The mailers you get are eco-friendly, like paper-filled mailers. So we really try in every way to be eco-friendly that way. And interestingly enough, the way that we print the patterns and the quotes on everything is a very eco-friendly way of printing. Most printing processes use a lot of water in their printing process of washing the screens or washing. Water is really a large part of the printing process. But in ours, we use very minimal water. And because actually the ink that we use is a water-based ink, all the paper that is used in the printing process is completely recyclable as well. So it uses a very small footprint, even in the way that we're printing on the materials. So
that's amazing.
We're trying our best to be as conscious as we can. I mean, being a mom, that's really where my heart is too, right? I want to leave them with a cleaner world and a different way of living. So
right.
Yeah, that's big for us for sure.
That's amazing. And yeah, I've heard actually through my research and that printing is one of the least eco friendly industries. And so, even in our printing and stuff, we're really trying to be very cautious of who we use and their practices as well. So as we were talking about sustainability in the business, I'd like to also bring it down to a personal level. I know that, we talk about small steps here because some people are listening and they get overwhelmed. I mean, I was overwhelmed when I started looking at these topics. I'm like, I'm one person. What can I do? And I like to encourage people just to take small steps, and all those small steps start to add up, and that together, if we're all doing these small steps, then amazing things can happen, right? So share with us maybe some things that you and your family are doing to kind of live a more fair and sustainable lifestyle.
Well, it's really funny growing up Dutch, and I love Dutch people.
My husband's Dutch.
Yeah, but I feel like in some ways, my mom was so cheap, she was eco-friendly all along.
So my husband's Dutch and I'm Scottish. So there you go.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah. So in some ways, that background has really helped me because, when I think about my family, my household, I was like, okay, I need to change everything. We need to do, all the things at once. And it did feel very overwhelming at first especially at starting a family, like, I'm going to do the cloth diapers. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my own laundry soap. And there just wasn't enough hours in the day that I would burn out and then just forget it for a while.
Right.
I have learned that those small steps, like you said, really are so powerful and they feel so much more attainable. And as a family, we really tried to focus on just a few things, and we grow and we keep growing on that. But a big one is food waste. everything that's in the fridge. Let's do leftovers. Let's make that really good Dutch soup that just uses everything in the fridge.
Yeah.
Let's try and make things when we can, not buy things that have so much packaging, just to be aware of that. And to teach my kids that, I think, is a really good start, and really good on the budget as well. Another thing we like to focus on as a family is want versus need, like just that consumerism, just changing that mindset. There's so many things that get wasted because we just buy, and did we really need it? And just teaching my kids and, really keeping that in mind for myself. And then when we do need, we really try to find resources that, are we going to buy, can we buy it used? Can we buy it Canadian made? Where can we buy it like ethically sourced, and just buying less? And then we have the money to invest in pieces that are more eco-conscious. So that's kind of where we take it as a family, is, just those steps, just that mindset, I think will be powerful, hopefully, for my kids moving forward. And then they can take it to other things. I do try to do the bulk of this, the cleaners and the shampoo, and make when I can. But yeah, that's kind of where our family has taken it, just changing the mindset that way.
It's so amazing and so simple, really. I mean, it seems like simple concepts, but not everybody does that, right? And I think that as we start to, I think you hit the nail on the head there when you're talking about food waste, because I think we're going to start seeing a need as grocery prices increase.
Oh my goodness.
As incomes have kind of, not risen to the same rate as inflation. There's going to be a need to be cautious with our food. And so, we talk about growing your own food, but that food waste is, the key part, is not wasting that food. And I used to be terrible for it. Oh my gosh, I was one of those people who, you go out and spend like $300 on groceries, and you'd come home and go, do you want to order pizza?
Yeah. I always joke. I say, I'm not the same person I was at the grocery store than I am when I get home. Like,
I know. I saw
so gourmet.
I saw this comic, and it made me laugh out loud, because it was a family standing in front of the lettuce and vegetables, and they were like, "Oh, we should really, buy this lettuce to take home and rot in our fridge."
Yes,
and I'm like, oh man, that was me. And now I'm so changed, because, I've got and now I'm getting all of the containers, and I'm, packaging up leftovers. I'm throwing it in the freezer. I'm collecting my vegetables, the ends of my vegetables, to make vegetable broths now. And I used to buy vegetable and chicken broths and stuff all the time. And now I'm like, no, I can make my own. Like, so much cheaper.
It does take time. It's definitely time and a commitment.
Yeah.
But and it's very gratifying, though, at the same time.
It is.
Like you said, small steps.
And again, the small steps. So, I mean, nobody's perfect. And I always say, we're not aiming for perfection here. Like, this is, the beauty is found in the mistakes, and there's going to be times when you do order that pizza, and you do, something does go, but now maybe you're thinking, okay, instead of throwing that in the garbage, I'm throwing it in the compost, and, things like that. So those small things that will help make a difference. Well, I just want to thank you so much, Teresa, for giving us your time today and sharing a little bit about your amazing business. I want to end it just on what your vision is for the future in the next few years for your business. Because you are in a real great growth spurt right now. I love you're in how many?
110, 120
stores, and you have, a thriving business. So share with us where you're hoping. I know that the last 2 years has been hard on all of us, so I'm not saying it hasn't been hard on you, but you've managed to kind of push through. So share with us where you hope to be in the next few years.
Yeah, growth has brought some really interesting, lovely things into my life as well. Like, I've learned how much I love having women working with me in the studio, and having these high school and college women to learn from and to see life in their perspective, and hopefully be able to be a positive influence to them as well. So I think actually I've become more hungry for growth, just for that reason alone, so that I can employ more women in my shop to work with me, so that I can, not that I'm perfect in any way, but so that we can grow and mature together and live this life that, like of truth and of inspiration to inspire other women. So I'm really loving that side of things. So I hope to find new growth in different areas of Canada. And now that the borders are opened up a little bit more, hopefully continue growth into the States as well. So whether or not the studio stays in my backyard in the next 10 years, man, I really hope it does. But if it doesn't, you can, we'll just have to see where the journey takes. But I know I want more women involved in the studio back there, so that hopefully I can offer them some encouragement as well.
That's amazing. And for people who want to follow your journey, I know you're on some social media. Why don't you give us your hashtags? We'll have everything in the show notes. So listeners can click on those links and go directly to your website. But why don't you just share with us what the website and handles are for social media?
Sure. I try to spend most of my time on Instagram. Well, let's say not most of my time. Let's all have balance, people with social. But you can find me at Giftologie. And Giftologie ends in an IE, so Giftologie. You can find me there on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you like to find your time. But hopefully on my feed, you're going to find some inspiration throughout your day as well, and leave encouraged and feeling better. You can find us on our website, it's giftologie.ca, and hopefully at a store near you. If you've got a really cute boutique in your neighborhood, please go ask for Giftologie there, so that we can grow together.
Amazing. Well, we look forward to watching your journey of growth and inspiration. And again, thank you so much for your time. I know time is precious, and sharing it with us today is a gift. So thank you so much. And I look forward to tuning in and watching how you grow.
Thanks, Debbie. Honestly, it's a serious honor to be chatting with you. I admire your journey, and I admire what you're doing as well. So this is really great to spend the morning with you.
Oh, no, don't make me cry. Thanks a lot, Teresa. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you for listening to Start Small. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found a small step you can take today. Make sure you share it with a friend. And if you have not done so yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are enjoying this podcast, consider taking a moment and leaving us an honest review in your Apple podcasting app, so more people can be inspired to take small steps towards social impact.